I'm a teacher from right here in New York City, and if there's one secret that I've learned in my 15 years in the classroom, it's how to make kids really excited to be at school. It's simple. Video games. And I'm not alone. All over the world, teachers are using more and more games as a tool to connect with their students and to teach their lessons. My own students have used games to master all kinds of skills, from math to history to language to art, you name it. Some critics do raise concerns that games can sometimes cause antisocial behavior, or they can be addictive, and this can definitely be true. But I believe that in the right environment, games can actually help children learn to be more generous and kind and emotionally intelligent. So one game in particular has really made a huge impact at schools everywhere, and also had a really big effect on my own life. You may have heard of it. It's called Minecraft. Its retro graphics and geometric simplicity allow the game to have an incredible amount of depth. And since its first public appearance over almost 10 years ago, the game has become one of the best-selling games of all time. When I first played it, I was fascinated. This landscape of blocks really captivated me and my imagination. Every time you play, the game presents you with a unique world that's generated just for you. And then you get to reshape that world any way you want. You can cut down trees and mine stone. You could build a house. You could build a castle. You could build a superhero lair. Why not? Anything you want. If you don't like to build, you can fight monsters, tame animals, hunt for treasure. And if you don't want to do any of that, you can download countless other worlds and mini-games and adventures made by other players online. You could literally play for the rest of your life and never see it all. And while some video games celebrate destruction, Minecraft is the opposite. It celebrates construction. You make your mark on the Minecraft world with creativity and ingenuity, not just by carrying the biggest gun. As a parent, I had incredible fun playing with my own two children. I was really impressed with how the game presented these situations that you needed real brain power in order to be able to tackle. My kids would spend hours researching different strategies online. They would use math to plan how to use their supplies. But even more impressive to me was how the game valued communication skills. One of my daughters even learned to spell her first word because she wanted to communicate within the game. She spelled home, H-O-M-E. This is a farm that we built together. So it was these experiences with my own children that inspired me to use the game in my classroom. That first day that I used Minecraft with a group of 20 second graders was a revelation to me. There was this explosion in my classroom of excitement, curiosity, creativity, ingenuity, all these things. And I'd never seen anything like it as a teacher before. I didn't really know what was possible at first, so I let the students explore on their own and really self-direct the whole experience. Different groups would often start by building a town, and then they'd have these fascinating debates about how to govern the towns and how to manage finite resources, how to grow food, replant trees, collecting rare building materials. They created currencies out of valuable objects in the games, like diamonds. They debated right and wrong while trying to come up with the rules and laws for these towns. So I had initially worried when I started that some kids would have a difficult time breaking some of the kind of antisocial gamer habits they might have picked up playing other games online. And to be sure, there were a handful of kids that would try to get away with various types of inappropriate behavior. But to my surprise, there was really another force at work. There was the collective will of the group. Most of my students wanted to create a positive game environment where they could share resources and where everyone felt safe and included. Students who did give in to the temptation to steal or to vandalize were dealt with in-game. Antisocial behavior in the game, I found, could cause a student to become ostracized in the game world, but then sometimes also in the school lunchroom. Whereas being good at the game and sharing your talents was something you could do to increase your standing within the group. Social capital could be earned by sharing your personal gains rather than hoarding them. I always remember one small boy in particular who showed up in my class with a lot to prove. He wasn't the most popular kid, he wasn't the best student, but video games were his thing. And he was determined to show everyone how awesome he was. It did not go so well. He was loud and disrupted, and he demanded that everyone play the game his way. He tried to convince people unsuccessfully that he should have all the best stuff in the game because he was the best at the game. And then one day, another girl in my class accidentally broke a window in this boy's Minecraft house. He jumped out of his seat, and the chair went crashing to the ground in my classroom. And he pointed at her and he said, "You broke my window, get out of my house." And if they were playing online, that might have been the end of it, or it could have escalated, or more bad things could have followed that. But in my classroom, I was able to guide the students to look each other in the eye and de-escalate the situation and move on from there. The girl ended up helping the boy repair the damage she had done to his house, and in turn, he showed her how to make glass to use in her own house. This incident even inspired a group discussion about the need for both public and private play spaces, and the need for fences. So Minecraft's popularity skyrocketed over the next few years, and it started to become clear that you could really teach almost any kind of academic subject with this game. Literacy teachers had students writing about their Minecraft experience. History teachers used the game to recreate ancient worlds where the kids could meet historical characters. Science teachers had the students designing experiments to probe Minecraft's version of gravity, chemistry, or even genetics. The list really goes on and on. So as time went on, I was so intrigued by the potential for Minecraft in education that I ended up taking a 5-year detour outside of the classroom to help develop an education-specific version of the game with some amazing colleagues, and we called it Minecraft EDU. I visited dozens of schools across the US and Europe, and I talked to hundreds of teachers and learned all about the amazing lessons that they were creating with this game. It really became my passion to help teachers get the most out of this game, no matter where they were teaching or what subjects they were teaching. But the thing that really fascinated me the most personally is that in all of these different varied lessons that I observed in all these different subjects, there were other skills being learned too, skills like empathy and social emotional intelligence. Students had to work together in these shared game spaces. They had to collaborate. They had to understand each other's strengths and weaknesses and support each other. They were learning that video game experiences didn't need to be just about winning or losing. It was about who you were playing with and what you were able to accomplish together. Some topics are notoriously hard to teach. How do you teach a child to be more empathetic? How do you teach them to care about civic engagement or conservation? And I think games like Minecraft offer an approach to this problem. I'll give one example that I'm really proud of how it can all come together. It involves a workshop that I helped to run using Minecraft to explore the social dynamics present in the Hunger Games. I should mention we did this at a library, and they wanted it to be about a book. So here's how it worked. We divided the kids into 2 teams that were based on the oppressive class system in the book and the politics in the novel. One team had access to food, weapons, and various forms of wealth and power. They lived in comfort and safety. The other group was forced to work harder, doing more dangerous tasks, and yet they lived in poverty, and there was never quite enough food to go around. But the catch was that there was a hidden interdependence in this relationship. Neither group could survive completely on their own. They needed to trade with each other. And it was fascinating to watch the kids play out these various power struggles in this little microcosm world that we'd created for them. So what happened? Well, the end results were different with almost every group we did this with. Sometimes the more powerful team would be successful in maintaining order, but they'd have to subjugate the less powerful team. Sometimes the oppressed team would withhold resources or make demands to be treated more fairly. Sometimes they would stage a revolt. Sometimes everything would just break down and everyone would die. Every now and then, an uneasy peace could be achieved, but that really wasn't our goal. And the end results didn't really matter all that much. What really mattered was the experience. We wanted the kids to explore the injustice in this system we had created for them. We wanted them to know what it was like to try to function in a society where there was not enough to go around and where people abused power. And no matter what happened while we played, we would always end the workshop with a discussion. We would have the most illuminating conversations. And the kids really were able to connect their experiences in the game with all kinds of real-world topics. They would bring up issues in their own lives about violence, poverty, equity. For instance, one time during these discussions, after the game sessions, one of our players who was playing on the oppressed team was accused of stealing from his fellow teammates and even attacking them. There was a lot of tension in the room, and I'll never forget how he responded. He said that when I realized I was powerless to change my own situation, I lashed out at the people who were closest to me. Game scenarios like this can help kids understand the complex interactions between different groups of people in our society or reflect on their own experiences. When a game is flexible enough to present these different real-world situations, when it's a game that the children are excited to play in school, when it's brought into an educational setting with the context, curation, and reflection that a teacher can help provide, amazing things can happen. Games help keep learning fun. And they provide teachers like me novel ways to connect with our students and provide experiences that would not be possible any other way. Thank you.